This is Fight Fans Radio.
Welcome to Across the Pond with your hosts, Andre Jacobs and Matt Simpson.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are not being deceived. Your eyes are not lying to you. We are back. This is Fight Fans Radio, and you are listening to Across the Pond MMA. Obviously, this is the Englishman, Andre Jacobs. I hope you're all fantastic and living a beautiful and joyous life. And tonight, I think I'm with Matt, but I think I'm with Matt's sexier older brother.
I might be Matt's sexy older brother. I don't know, man. I'm not even sure who I am after 2 weeks of just some of the worst bronchitis, sickness, everything you could think of I've had in quite some time. So I'm just glad to finally be doing a show. Hopefully I don't have any coughing fits, and we get through this thing.
Dude, honestly, I've been as ill. No, I wouldn't say I've been as ill as you, but I haven't been feeling great, so I understand your pain. How are you feeling today? Do you think you can hold on?
I tell you what, man, my voice is better than it's been in a while, and I think I can do this for the fans. I can push through it. I can persevere.
For the fans, man, you got to do it for the fans.
As long as I don't laugh too much. Every time I start to laugh, I feel like I'm gonna cough. So you can't make me laugh too much.
Well, to be fair, I'm not really funny, so I suppose that's not too hard. And obviously, even better, it's not just me and it's not just you. We also have the fantastic Erica back with us. It's been a while, girlfriend. How is one?
One is good. One is well.
Tremendous. We've missed you. What can we say?
I've missed you guys too. I always miss you guys.
Oh, thank you very much. Well, let's talk less about the old hellos and all them shenanigans. Let's talk more about what's going on in the world of MMA since the last time we actually came back and did the show. So what's going on? Was anything that's piqued your interest? Any news stories?
Well, I mean, we've had UFC 157 releases. We've had we've had quite a bit go on since we've been on hiatus.
Oh yes, of course. We had the how crazy is it that the John Fitch thing only happened like last week, and I completely forgot about it.
That's nice.
That's ridiculous, isn't it? Let's talk about the John Fitch thing and the releases. What were your initial thoughts?
Well, I'm not a huge Fitch fan, which everybody knows, and for the reasons that I'm just not a big. I like wrestling. I can appreciate wrestling, but I like a little bit more action in my fights. I like a lot more transitions, and John isn't really known for that. That being said, I thought that the release was a little bit garbage. I mean, I know he was on a skid. I think it's, if you look at it that way, it's justifiable. I just think that it was bullshit though, the way it was handled, and the whole. I don't know if you caught the interview with Dana White, where I'm pretty sure in the span of like 35 minutes, dropped the F-bomb at least 80 times, and was saying, everybody was saying that this was a travesty. This isn't a travesty. It's not that big a deal. Fighters get released. Yada yada yada. But I mean, he's ranked on your top 10. I don't know. It was just a whole lot of mess. That I just didn't agree with the way it was handled, and I think it's kind of bunk for John Fitch, who was 3 losses in 7 years, something like that, to get released by the UFC when you've got other fighters on your card that are absolute garbage.
Wow. Is it? Speak how you feel, man. Is there anything else on your mind? What's going on? What else upset you? You sound like a man with a lot on your mind.
Well, like I said, I mean, if I hadn't, if we could have done the show last week, it would have probably been a lot more heated. But I'm the kind of guy that after a few days, I get over whatever's irritating me. So I'm going to ask it, but I just think, like I said, Dana White, he comes and does the TRT announcement. They're going to be more aggressive with that, and which, I mean, I thought that was a big plus for him. I thought that was a good move. And then the way the John Fitch release was handled, it was just, I thought that it was handled poorly. And I thought the way and then in the interview, like I said, he was just not very professional. I mean, and the sport, I've said it before, we want the sport to grow. The cussing and the T-shirts and all that stuff was cool 10 years ago, but it's not cool anymore. It's not, to me, it's at least not to where I think where the sport needs to go. I mean, you still have a fan base, a rowdy fan base, and so they're going to be okay with that. But you want to also get a new fan base, and that rowdy fan base, they like the NFL, they like baseball, they like basketball, and nobody's, none of the presidents, general managers, none of them act like that in any of those sports, and they all watch those sports just fine. So I just think that things need to start just need to change a little bit, man. I think the persona that they put out there needs to change. And again, I think John Fitch got done wrong. And man, you can vouch. The second show that we did, I went on a John Fitch rant for about 15 minutes. But I think that it's just wrong how they handled it.
Okay, cool. Let's talk about UFC 157. I mean, what were your thoughts on that event? I thought it was kind of like up and down. There were some high points and some low points, but there was, the high points were high and the low points were. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. It was a mixed bag, and we're going to get that from time to time. But when the high points were, I thought, really, really high. I thought they were, the Kenny Robertson knee bar submission was fantastic. I mean, Dennis Bermudez, Matt Grice, fight of the year contender. Brandon Schaub, LeVar Johnson, not a fight of the year contender. Robbie Lawler knocking out Josh Koscheck. Faber handling Menjivar as quickly as he did. Those were all great fights. And, of course, Ronda Rousey, Liz Carmouche. You couldn't ask for a better 4 minutes and 49 seconds of a championship fight.
No, not at all. What were your thoughts when you were watching the Dan Henderson fight, and how disappointed were you? Because I know I was really disappointed.
Well, I think the big thing is, and it's really a testament to Dan's chin. I mean, Machida was doing what Machida does, which is keeping his distance and countering and moving in. He landed some shots on Dan that personally, I think would have dropped 2/3 of the light heavyweight division. It's just Dan Henderson has got a rock for a jaw, and I don't know. I think it was Rogan said that he might have the best jaw in combat sports. I think that goes to Roy Nelson, but Dan Henderson's right up there, and I think that's it. I mean, Dan Henderson's just not fast enough. He doesn't have the skills to cut off the ring and get to Machida. Maybe before the knee injuries and a few years ago, it'd been a different story. But Machida was able to control the fight and use the style of fighting that he does really well with. And I thought I had no problem with the win, and I enjoy watching Machida fight. So I can handle point fighting as a stand-up. The point fighting I can't handle is the wrestling. So I'm a bit of a hypocrite there, but I was okay with it. Okay.
So right, if you're Joe Silva now, I give you the reins to the UFC in the light heavyweight division. Who do you put where? What do you do with Dan Henderson? What do you do with Lyoto Machida?
I think you've got to get Machida against Gustafsson if he wins, assuming that he wins, which I think he will. I don't think Machida acted like he wanted another fight before he fought John Jones. I mean, Machida's been coming in light. I mean, I don't know how hard this guy's really thinking about making the move to middleweight. Dan Henderson, Dan says he's not done. I don't know what you're going to do with him next. I mean, he's going to want to be fighting somebody in the top 5, top 6, I assume, because he's going to want to be able to get right back in that title shot contention.
Sure.
I don't know where you want to put Dan, but Lyoto, I think with that win, I think that if Gustafsson wins, he should get him and then set that up for John Jones. And it's okay if John fights. I don't know if this is exact, but I think John has defended his title more times than any other current title holder in the UFC. So if John takes a little bit longer off, gets healed up, I think that's okay. Because if Machida fights a Gustafsson, and assuming John beats Chael, which he should, it would probably put the fight out a little bit further because of if somebody gets injured in the Machida Gustafsson fight. And I think that's okay. Put him on the shelf a little bit, let him heal up.
Fair enough, fair enough. What were your thoughts on the Ronda Rousey fight? I mean, how impressed with her were you? I mean, what was the reaction in the US? Because we don't really get
I
a
mean,
reaction
I
here.
tell you what was impressive was, I mean, when Carmouche had that neck crank on, I mean, I literally thought, I mean, Rhonda's top of her head kind of had a Walking Dead look because it looked like her entire lower jaw was gone. I
Yeah.
mean, I could not believe that she didn't. I really thought she was going to tap. I was like, holy crap. I was like, Carmouche is going to tap her. Because, I mean, I guarantee you that there's a ton of guys in the UFC that if somebody put that type of neck crank on them, they'd have been hitting the elbow saying, get the hell off of me in a hurry.
For reals, for reals, for reals. Regardless of that, Ronda, very impressive. I heard the press out in the US was fantastic for her, so everyone's loving her, obviously. Next up, Misha Tate or Kat Zingano. Sarah McMahon's got a fight coming up. They've also signed Alexis Davis, Julie Kempsey. This UFC women's bantamweight division is shaping up to be something quite saucy. Are you impressed?
Yes, absolutely. They're really going after him, and I'm glad to see that they're not taking a backseat. They're really going after getting some talent and getting them in there. I really would like to see Alexis fight Ronda Rousey. I'd love to see that matchup. But yeah, those are all going to be great fights, regardless how they go.
I'm telling you now, the three fights that are going to give Ronda Rousey the most trouble is going to be Sarah McMahon, because I reckon they'll nullify each other and it will stay standing. And it's a matter of who's the better striker. And to be honest, they're both poor strikers, but I think Sarah McMahon has a little bit more power. Kat Zingano, because she's a big old girl and she's decent in the grappling area, and Alexis Davis just because she's technically, I think she's a bit of a better fighter. Overall, I think Alexis Davis might just be a better fighter than Ronda Rousey, and that could be a big shout, and people might go, "Oh my god, I can't believe you said that! How shocking!" But Ronda Rousey, not that good of a striker. Great with judo, great with the arm bars and everything. But Alexis Davis overall, better fighter, more experience, better striking. Very good jiu-jitsu.
I would say some of the best jiu-jitsu in the women's division. So
Yeah.
I think that, and if you listen to her talk about Ronda Rousey, she points out things that she sees Ronda getting away with that she feels like she's not going to get away with her. So I think that fight in itself is going to be Ronda's toughest fight, assuming she doesn't have to fight, the man beast Chris Cyborg anytime soon.
Does anyone actually think that fight's ever going to happen?
I don't know. This might be the Randy Couture Fedor mythical unicorn fight that never happens.
Look, my opinion on this whole thing is, right, if it ain't happening at 135 pounds, why should I really give a shit?
I agree with that. Did you not exactly off the subject, but did you see Tito Ortiz the press conference when he announced that Cyborg was going to be fighting outside the UFC?
I did not see the press conference.
Oh my god, dude, it was brutal. It was hands down one of the funniest things I have ever witnessed from a professional athlete or a professional manager of any sort. I mean, Tito Ortiz, it was almost like if I was up there doing it, I was like, this is horrible. I mean, the way he handled it himself, the way he was answering questions, the way he was talking to the press, I was like, I mean, he's like so nervous that he just can't deal with things, or I mean, I don't know. It was funny. It was an absolute blast to watch, and hopefully he does another press conference here pretty soon because it was very entertaining.
Oh God, Matt Simpson loving a train wreck as per usual. But yeah, I don't need to see this. I don't need to see this fight. I would much rather they continue building 135-pound division and maybe trying to get more women involved instead of just waiting for fighters to come into promotion. Grab some I don't know, I'd just do something, just to stimulate this 130
Well,
pound division.
assuming that Ronda continues to win, or somebody else steps up and takes the mantle, that they can really feel like they can promote. How long do you think it's before they start going after Invicta?
A year.
A year. That's pretty accurate.
I'd give it a year. Well, do you know what? Maybe a year and a half, because I don't know how often Ronda's going to want to fight. She could fight twice this year. She could fight one more time this year. If she fights twice this year, who's that going to be? The winner of Miesha Tate versus Kat Zingano, and then Alexis Davis or Sarah McMahon, and then after that, who have you got? A rematch of Miesha. The best you can really hope for is that she loses the title, and that creates more drama in the division, and creates some sort of, like the light. Do you remember when the light heavyweight division was exciting, because you really didn't know if the champion could hold on to the title?
Yes, before John Jones.
before John Jones. That's what you need in that division. You need to get some form of mortality with these fighters, and I think we kind of got that. We kind of got that when Liz Carmouche got that neck crank in there, because if Miesha Tate was behind her, she might have tapped Ronda Rousey. If Alexis Davis was behind her, she might have tapped Ronda Rousey too. So there's some form of how do I put it? There's some form of mortality there, but are you excited? Do you want to see anyone could beat Ronda Rousey? Because I don't.
Not right now. I don't think that there's any. I just think there's some people that can challenge her, take her out of the first round, take her out of her comfort zone. But to actually beat her, right now I'm going to say no.
Cool. Fair enough. What are your thoughts on on Josh Koscheck and Robbie Lawler?
Well, I was really surprised how. I guess Koscheck just kind of seemed like he was just taking it easy. He didn't really seem like he was fighting with any any real desire. I mean, I was, and Robbie was in there, ready to put it all out. And I like both. I like Koscheck. I like both fighters. Yeah, I like Josh Koscheck. I've always liked Josh Koscheck. So, and I think part of it is because a couple times I've talked to the guy, he's been really cool. And the second time I met him, he just sat and bullshitted with me for about 15 minutes. And it was a really nice guy. So that might be part of the reason I like Koscheck. But I love Robbie Lawler. I was such a huge fan of that guy back in the day, in the earlier parts of the UFC. Was devastated when he got knocked out by a young Nick Diaz. But in this fight, I picked Koscheck to win, but I was really hoping Lawler would win, because I really thought, if Lawler loses this fight, and if it's Koscheck, because I thought if Koscheck won it, it was going to be putting Robbie on his back and controlling him for 3 rounds. I thought that Lawler could easily get cut. So I was glad to see Robbie come in and just take care of business. I thought the stoppage, however, was garbage.
I don't, but okay.
You didn't think the stoppage was bad?
No.
I see. Now, if you watched it,
I did it when I first watched it. When I watched it live, I was like, "Oh, it's a terrible stoppage." Then I watched it in slow motion. He was ow.
Okay, that's not why I thought the stop was garbage. And I'm always one that sides with the refs on early stoppages. I think that they don't stop fights soon enough. The reason I thought the stoppage was garbage was because Herb Dean reffed the Dennis Bermudez Matt Grice fight, and Grice was out on his feet. He was done, and Bermudez continued to blast him in the face, and Dean didn't step in. Koscheck got punched back into consciousness with that third strike, and then Dean stepped in. I thought it was a bad stoppage in the fact that there's no consistency there. If you're not stopping the Matt Grice, Dennis Bermudez fight, then why are you stopping the Josh Koscheck, Robbie Lawler fight? To me, the refs need to be consistent. If you want to be a guy that lets guys get beat to death inside the cage, then be that guy. If you want to be a guy that tries to protect the fighters and stop the fights a little bit early, then be that guy. But don't be inconsistent.
Fair enough.
And I don't think that it's, I mean, I know it's a split-second decision, but if you just put in your mind, I see a guy take 4 unanswered heavy shots, I'm stopping the fight, regardless. Then that's what you should do. So that way, you know what, there's no second guessing yourself. And if people don't like that, then, you know, they don't like that. They can deal with, they can kiss your ass. You know, that's what you do, but they'll know every time that that's how that fight's going to get handled. And they won't be surprised by what, like, to me, that's a bad stoppage just because of how he handled the fight earlier in the night.
Fair enough. There was a Bellator card recently, Bellator 90, which may have gone down as the best Bellator ever. Please tell me you're watching that live. I would love to know what your thoughts were on that card, because I was like, holy shit.
Oh, absolutely, man. They really brought it. And what was great was it was a mix of the lighter weight classes and some of the heavier guys. And Emmanuel Newton, man, that was absolutely beautiful. And King Mo, I was, you know, as King Mo kept setting up and dropping his hands, I was like, why are you doing this? I was like, you've hit Newton with some absolutely hellacious shots, and Newton's not going anywhere. Okay. And so at this point, King Mo, you need to start using your wrestling, because Newton is coming. He keeps throwing big shots. I was like, he's going to catch you. And then when he caught him with that spinning back fist, I was like, holy crap, I freaked out. The Douglas Lima, Brian Baker knockout was beautiful. Shemalayev beating Rad Martinez. I mean, it was a fantastic main card. I didn't get to catch very many of the prelims. I saw the Ben Saunders Amia fight. That was an exciting fight. So yeah, it was an exciting card, man. Really, the Bellator cards as of late, I think they've been putting on a pretty good show. I think so far this has been a really surprising season for them. I mean, because last year they were so inconsistent in their last season. This season, I think, it's been a lot better.
No, indeed. What are your thoughts on King Mo? And what would you do next if you had the option? Because he's sort of in a really weird no man's land right now.
Yeah, he's absolutely no man's land. And I'm a person, you know, I've heard King Mo interviewed a bunch, and I really, you know, the guy is so intelligent, but at times when you listen to, or you watch what he tweets out, and sometimes his interviews, he tries to act like, you know, an ass, and he doesn't show who he really is, so when he lost, how he acted in his loss, I was, you know, a lot of respect out to him, man, because I mean, I thought he handled it really well. I thought it was great seeing Emmanuel Newton do his mosh dance there for the win, and King Mo, and you could see in King Mo's face. Yeah, well, you could see in King Mo's face that he was happy for him. He was kind of laughing at it. I mean, and you know, props to that dude. And that's what I want to see more of, though. Is I want to see King. I don't need to see King Mo being a Rampage Jackson. I want to see King Mo, you know, being, to me, is one of the most knowledgeable fighters in MMA as far as understanding the sport and the different aspects of the sport. The dude is unreal, and he doesn't show it that much. And so it's kind of like Mike Tyson back in the day. Mike acted like a complete psychopath and a nutball 90% of the time, but the dude knows so much about the history of boxing and the sport itself. And unless somebody really sits down and talks to him, a lot of people never know that. You know, they just think of him as a guy that bit off Evander Holyfield's ear. And so I hope King Mo goes back to his wrestling. I mean, the boxing, he's got super heavy hands, but his bread and butter is his wrestling. And use the striking that you're getting better at to set up the wrestling. But dude, the Philly shell defense only works if you have head movement and you use your shoulder movement. He does neither. And so don't do that inside the cage, man. It's not going to ever work out for you.
For sure. Then there was Bellator 91, which was sort of like meh. if Bellator 90 was the high, then Bellator 91 was the come down. So I thought I was just not impressed that much.
No, you had a pretty standard, just mediocre slugfest between Rickles and Jason Fisher that wasn't really that impressive. And Attila Vey, Christian Mpumbu, that was a horrible light heavyweight match. Christian Mpumbu, and what makes it worse, though, is that Christian is coming off a loss. That's the thing about Bellator, man. It's hard to deal with your, or to believe your champions when they have losses leading up to their title defenses.
Well, luckily, we won't have to deal with that problem anymore because of just the way that Bellator and Bjorn Rebney have changed their whole system around. But yeah, I completely agree with you in that sense.
But yeah, so that card was boring. But you know what the big thing though is that next week we get the featherweights, Marlon Sandro, Kospelayev, Bazeha, Richmond. Those should be fantastic fights. So they should pick right back up. I don't know if that card will be anything close to 90, but Brett Cooper, Dan Kramer. I mean, these guys are all guys that bring it. I think we could see 2 or 3 finishes on that main card. So it should be another exciting card.
No doubt. Talking of Bellator, I'm assuming you've heard the news about Daniel Strauss being arrested in Miami for possession of drugs and drug paraphernalia.
Yeah, that's horrible, man. That guy was on a rocket ship as far as Bellator goes, and has looked so impressive as of late. And then to have this happen, I mean, that's just very disappointing.
Yeah. Very disappointing indeed. But then again, we do now get Rad Martinez versus we do now get Shamalayev versus Pat Curran instead.
No, and I think that'll be an interesting fight. I think Pat Curran's going to win that fight, but I still would have much rather seen Strauss versus Curran. I mean, I think Strauss he was on a pace of just constantly improving that I think that he could have given Curran a real run for his money. So it's a real shame that that happened.
Indeed. And then, we had last night's fights. What were your thoughts then?
Well, I mean, I think I was with everybody else. I was ready to fall asleep until we got to the co-main and main event. That was absolutely, I mean, I think that the first round, I always try to pull back a little bit when I first watch a fight as far as where I rank it, all time in the sport. And so after that first round, I was like, that was one of the best rounds this year. But then going back and watching it again.
Are you talking about Brian Stan versus?
Yeah, the Brian Stan Vanderlei Silva. I guess I should have said that. But yeah, the light heavyweight match between Silva and Stan. After watching that first round, I was like, this is one of the best rounds of this year. After rewatching it, dude, that is one of the best rounds in MMA history. I mean, that was their first exchange was so fast and electric that I was like, I rewound and watched that like 5 times. I was like, that is just absolutely beautiful. And I don't think that, there's not very many other people you could have put in there with Vanderlei Silva that would have given us this type of fight. I mean, Silva, I mean, Stan, and Silva really didn't even have to do anything with this, and that being Joe Silva, because Stan wanted this fight. Brian Stan's who we have to thank for this fight, because he wanted to make this fight happen. And by doing so, he gave us, one of the, what will go down to me as one of the all-time classics MMA matches.
Nice. Erica, what were your thoughts on the event? Erica might not be here.
Erica had to step away.
My bad. But I quite enjoyed it myself, if I'm honest. It sends sort of weird shivers down your spine. You never thought it was going to happen. Everyone thought Stan was going to knock Vanderlei Silva out. It was kind of scary in a way. And then he goes out and does that. He gets clobbered a few times. He gets knocked down a few times, but he manages to get right back up somehow and get the win. And it would have been a perfect scene if he retired right there in Japan with
absolutely,
that fight. It would have been absolutely epic and a fantastic way to end his career. But he's not going to retire.
No. Sorry, guys. What was the opinion that you wanted? The so important opinion that I can give?
Oh, no, it's fine. I just wanted to ask what your thoughts were on the fight last night, the main event.
I really wanted Brian Stan to win. I probably was like the only person in the room that I was at who wanted Brian Stan to win. But I'm a big Brian Stan fan. I think Vanderlei needs to hang it up.
Clearly not.
Well, immediately following the fight, Mike Fagan tweeted out that it was an obvious work. And I'm not sure if I would use the term work, but I would not be surprised if someone had talked to Brian Stan about making it a little bit more exciting for the Japanese audience and fighting Wanderley's fight. I've never seen Brian Stann fight like that before. Never. So it was very unusual for him to have that kind of balls out brawler style. You know, I definitely think that there's something to be said about how Brian Stann fought. It was a little weird. That's not how he fights normally. So why did he decide to fight like that?
But I don't think that's some conspiracy shit that I like. I like it though. I'm interested. I feel like I'm on the MMA version of the X-Files.
Yeah, I don't know if it was a work or not. I heard that Stan was out of his comfort zone by being so aggressive. I thought he was aggressive against Bisping. But regardless, I'm glad he was. I'm glad he did what he did. I'm glad that if somebody put a fire up his ass and said, hey, go out there and give us a show. This card's been complete garbage. I don't care. It was a fantastic fight. It was great to see Silva get the win. And I like Brian Stann too. And I absolutely thought Brian Stann was going to finish Silva. So completely blown away that Silva got that knockout, even with Stann fighting with some reckless abandon at times. And then I was so happy to see Mark Hunt knock out Stefan Struve, even though it was it was a disaster at times, and I was trying to figure out what the hell Mark Hunt was doing with playing around in his guard. But I thought, you know what, he played around Stefan Struve's guard and survived, which, you know, Pat Barry couldn't do that, which, you know, that was another guy that doesn't have any type of ground game. So it was a good night for me, man, because I love Mark Hunt. I don't care how he wins as long as he wins. So it was fun.
It was kind of painful to watch in the sense of it wasn't like a bad fight or anything. It was painful to watch, as in, like, sometimes I'm there and I'll be like imagining me getting punched in the face by one of those dudes, and for a split second I imagine I got punched by Mark Hunt and nearly fell asleep because it was that sort of just, that's got to be painful. Apparently Stefan Struve broke his jaw.
I think that Struve got his eggs scrambled early in the second round. And I think that's why we've seen some of the weird, lackadaisical, the way he was handling things inside the cage at times. Because I think that early in the second round, I think Hunt hurt him way worse than what it was visible to us. And because, I mean, at times what Struve was doing inside the cage, I was just like, what is he? That doesn't even, just standing there in front of Mark with your hands up. I mean, Stefan does some dumb shit inside the cage. I was like, but that is just bonkers to me. And so I kind of felt like maybe he got hurt in one of those early exchanges. And another thing that I thought was fantastic, though, was the third round. I'm thinking Mark Hunt has no gas left in the tank. This is going to be a horrible third round. Stefan Struve is clearly he's tired. And then that 1-2 combo that Hunt threw, it was probably about, I don't know, a minute 15 into the third round, was so lightning fast. It made me sit up. I was like, holy shit, where the hell did that even come from? And
how does a man of his size generate that speed?
I don't know. I have no idea. But God bless him. I mean, I used Mark Hunt on K1 Grand Prix back in PlayStation 2 or PlayStation 1 days. I've been a Mark Hunt fan for such a long time. I'm just glad to see him still winning. I mean, he's only got, probably a handful of fights left because he's getting older. He's getting injured. And there's some great grapplers that'll take advantage of his lack of ground game, even though it's improving. I don't know if Cain Velasquez put him on his back, if he'd get out from underneath Cain. He might be able to, though, because he's so strong. But his gas tank's going to be a problem. But man, I just want to see him. Put him in there with more strikers. I think that the UFC Tonight guys said the winner of Junior Dos Santos, Alistair Overeem. I'd absolutely want to see that fight, because even though Junior's got some wrestling, Junior's not going to wrestle him. He's going to go out there and try to knock him out. So it would be great to see those guys go at it.
What about Roy Nelson?
That, know what, versus Mark Hunt, being that Roy Nelson said that he hits harder than Mark Hunt, yeah, I'd like to see that too, because I think Mark Hunt would knock Roy Nelson out.
Yeah, so do I. I genuinely think he would probably. Yeah, there's no way. I think Roy Nelson could get it to the ground and finish him pretty quickly. But I've got to go with Mark Hunt, giving him an absolute pasting in the stand-up.
Yeah, no, without a doubt. If Roy thinks he hits harder than Mark, he's definitely got another thing coming. So
Indeed.
I would love to see that fight happen, assuming that Roy wants to stand and throw and isn't going to just try to lay on top of him.
Fair enough. Now, I need to know what your scorecard was for Diego Sanchez versus Takanori Gomi, because if you were like me,
I had
then you
Gomi
were
winning,
pissed.
man. I had Gomi winning.
I'm so upset.
Yeah, I thought it was absolutely horrible, and I picked Sanchez to win that fight. Takanori Gomi, I mean, people were saying that this is the best Takanori Gomi we've seen since his Pride days. I don't know about that. I mean, I thought that was a pretty crappy Diego Sanchez we watched. But I absolutely thought that Gomi got jobbed, which was crazy because, I mean, I guess it wasn't crazy because the scores that night or last night were so all over the place throughout the entire card. I mean, generally we have, that one fight where, people are, kind of upset or they have the disagreements and whatnot. But I thought across the entire card, because we had so many decisions, almost every fight there was some questions of either a fighter getting a round where he shouldn't have gotten any rounds, or a fighter getting all of the rounds. I mean, it was just it was a bad night for judges.
Yeah, no, it definitely was a bad night for judges. Just I don't know. I just don't know. When they said split decision, I was like, oh, they can't have screwed this up. There's no way they could have. And it just feels like, I don't know what Diego Sanchez does to make it seem like he's winning to the judges live, but he gets these decisions, and I don't understand. I really don't.
I don't either, because you know what? I know that sometimes if you watch the fight, the judges are watching from a certain angle, so they're not going to see every punch land. But I was live at the Martin Kampman Diego Sanchez fight, and I thought Martin Kampman won that fight, and I only had one angle to view the entire fight. So I don't know. I know they're trying to do stuff with the monitors. I don't know. They've got to figure out a way to get the judging down a little bit better. I mean, it happens in boxing. And boxing, though, has got a little bit more of conspiracy theories going on, where the fights are thrown and judges are paid off and all that stuff happens. In the MMA, I don't think you have that kind of stuff. I think you just have some judges that are ignorant of the sport, and they all judge different things. They don't put the same emphasis on everything. The same across the board. It goes back to consistency. It's the same thing with the refereeing. We need more consistency. We need, to me, you need to make things a little bit more black and white, and I think that would solve some of the problems.
Indeed. Besides from that, were there any fights that really excited you? I mean, the Hoyagun Lim fight at the beginning of the night was a pretty good finish, but besides from that, anything stand out?
I enjoyed watching Yaya until he gassed. I mean, I always enjoy watching that dude inside the cage, because that goes to my, I'm not a fan of just controlling the ground game. I'm a fan of high transitions, taking chances. And Yaya, man, that dude is like a freaking spider on the ground. I mean, he's an octopus. I think he has an extra 2 limbs. As he just gets a hold of you, pulls you down, and moves all over the place. So that was a fun fight to watch. Yushin Okami, Hector Lombard was a garbage fight. Not impressed whatsoever with that fight. Caraway, I can't stand that guy. I was glad to see him lose. Alex Caceres.
But before we go anywhere, is that not one of the worst coaching moments I've ever called?
Oh yeah, that was absolutely brutal, dude.
You can now coast to a victory.
Yeah, you've got the first 2 rounds, so you can coast now.
Wow,
I don't think I've ever heard anything. And you know what? Back in the olden days of MMA, the corners weren't mic'd, which drove me completely bonkers, because I always wanted to hear what the hell the corners are saying between rounds. And now that we've got the corners mic'd, and it's been that way for a few years, that was hands down the dumbest thing I think I've ever heard a cornerman say, or cornerwoman in that case.
I did not know how to react at all. I was completely shocked. Completely and utterly shocked. Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, there aren't any fights next week, are there?
No, there's. We talked about there's a Bellator next week, but other than that, there's a couple small promotions got some stuff going on. Nothing big.
There's a Bama event next week, but I'm going strictly as a fan for the first time since UFC 120. I have not been to
nice.
Yeah, I've not been to an MMA show where I'm not covering it, and I'm just going as a fan to enjoy fights since UFC 120. That's nearly 3 years ago.
Nice.
No, it's over 3 years.
Who's on that card?
Matt Veach versus Jimmy Wallhead, and some other fights that are completely slipping my brain. I'm at this very point in time, but it's looking exciting, I must say.
That should be a good time. So before we move on to entertainment, what are your thoughts on the Ultimate Fighter thus far?
I'm enjoying it. Sad to say, I'm actually enjoying it.
Still the same level of enjoyment you had initially?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like a gigantic level of enjoyment, but it was gigantic in the sense that the last few seasons have been absolute garbage. But I can watch it and not want to cry.
Well, I'd say the fact, I mean, I know that we've talked about this on multiple times. I mean, you haven't watched an Ultimate Fighter for some time, so the fact that you're still watching every episode, that's still a testament to the show.
Yeah, I mean, no, completely. I mean, I can't even remember the last time actually. I would probably say what have been the coaches? I remember vividly. I remember watching GSP versus Koscheck. What was the coaches after that? I stayed a little bit. I think the last time I watched the first few weeks of the Ultimate Fighter live, and I gave up then.
Yeah, that was horrible. I couldn't. That was the one that I actually couldn't watch at all. It was so freaking just bad.
It wasn't even that it was bad. It was just that I'm a young man and I like to go out on a Friday night and not sit in and watch live fights all the time. Saturday night's fine. Friday night, that's my little relaxation time. I think that just Friday night in America is like death TV, apparently. Putting a show on in America on Friday night.
I don't know. Some of the ones that stood out to me still, I enjoyed Matt Hughes, Matt Serra.
That was ages ago, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, so but that's just that there's nothing recent that jumps out to me. Shane Carwin, Roy Nelson was horrible.
I have no idea about that.
That was bad. Bisping Miller was bad. Lesnar DeSantos was bad. So yes, this is to me this is still the pinnacle for the Ultimate Fighter. This has been by far and away the best one, best production, still awesome. The fact that the fighters haven't done anything really ridiculous inside the house, other than a couple pranks, I thought it has been great. The way they're handling their losses, the fact that they're going over to the other team's locker room and congratulating them, or telling them better luck next time. I mean, I really have enjoyed it. I thought your boy Uriah is acting a little bit of a little douchey here and there, but other than that, I mean, there's nobody.
Whoa, my boy Uriah. Where'd you get these from? I've had this before. You're like, oh, he's your boy.
Oh, he is. Just admit he's your guy.
I never said that.
Yeah. Anyways, but he has been a little douchey though. That little bit douchey. But I think it's just that he's not the most mature dude in the world.
No. He's Jamaican. That's why.
He's douchey because he's Jamaican?
No, he's not being douchey. All okay. Jamaicans have two speeds. We have normal, relaxed, chilled out Jamaican that most people stereotype us with. And then there's we hate you and we want to kill you Jamaican. We have no mid ground.
Okay.
That's why when someone says something bad to him, he's automatically like...
Yeah, but nobody's really said anything bad to him. I mean...
He sees it as bad. He sees it as disrespect. And if you try and disrespect a Jamaican, they'll automatically want to kill you. You don't actually...
Okay, I get that. But I don't think really anybody's tried to disrespect him. I mean, people have done stuff. I mean, I've said that stuff to people I know. And, you jab at each other. And Uriah just can't take it at all.
No, you can't. He's Jamaican. I can't take it half the time.
Okay, well... You take it from me. I jab at you, and you're not booking a flight to America.
Well, I don't take you seriously.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Your eyes shouldn't take everything to heart.
Yeah,
but regardless, it's been great. I mean, and so I can't wait to see some more of the matches. And again, John Jones and Chael Sonnen have been fantastic coaches. So really enjoying it.
Indeed. I do take you seriously, but I'm just kidding. Right. Entertainment stuff. Let's go on to the other side of the podcast. I'm interested. What you've been watching? Talk to me.
Well, did you watch the Oscars?
No, I didn't actually.
Okay, well, I didn't either. I can't bring myself to watch the Oscars because typically after I see the nominations, I'm angry, and I know that at some point I'm going to have to look at the winners and see a bunch of garbage, and so I just watch the highlights. But overall, again, I felt like the Oscars was a giant fail in the nominations, and then once they have their nominations, in who won what. Are you familiar with the winners?
Vaguely. I mean, all I needed to know was that Jennifer Lawrence won, and I don't care. I'm good.
So, have you watched all the films that were nominated, or I mean, with like Lincoln? I know you watched Silver Linings Playbook.
That's all
Beast of Southern. That's all you needed to know. So Silver Linings Playbook should have won everything.
Sorry, say again?
Hello? Yeah, Silver Linings Playbook should have won everything. Is that where you stand?
That's exactly where I'm standing. Oh, this is great radio. I'm assuming you can hear my smoke alarm going off.
Yes, it is fantastic. It is blowing my eardrums out, and I'm sure everybody that listens to the show is going to really appreciate it too.
All right, Eric. Is anyone actually listening? Oh, no, there we go. Sweet, perfect. It's all gone. Right.
All right, awesome. But back to it. So your Silver Linings Playbook across the board. Best Picture went to Argo. Did you get a chance to watch Argo?
Seen about 15 minutes of it, and then I fell asleep because I was really tired. Not because it was a boring film.
No, it was an entertaining film, but to me, it should have been Django Unchained. As far as the films that were nominated, the fact that Zero Dark 30 didn't win anything really wasn't a surprise to me because I didn't think Zero Dark 30 should have been nominated. Best Actor went to Daniel Day-Lewis. What's had to?
Who else are they going to give it to?
Did you see Flight?
Look, I'm not saying that he deserved to win it because I've never seen.
Okay. All right.
So who else they're going to give it to?
That's right. But Denzel Washington, and I just watched, and I didn't know this until literally just a couple of days ago because I just got around to watching Flight. Denzel Washington should have won that award. I've seen all the other movies. The Master. I mean, Joaquin Phoenix was great in that. Silver Linings Playbook. We've talked about how we are a Bradley Cooper fan. Hugh Jackman, don't really give a shit about. But Denzel Washington.
Did Denzel get robbed again like it was Malcolm X?
Man, it's right up there because Daniel Day-Lewis is a fantastic actor.
Yeah.
Denzel Washington, his portrayal of alcoholic was, I mean, it was one of the best I've seen in years, and it was one of his best performances in years. And he's done, and you know how fantastic he is. He's done a lot of great movies.
Can I interject here because this is one of my favorite rants to go on because it really pisses me off about Denzel Washington. The only time he's been nominated, I think 6 times for an Oscar. The only time he's won is for Training Day, which I think is absolute bullshit. Because it's the one role that Denzel Washington rarely plays, which is this kind of thuggish, hoodish black guy, the stereotype. He rarely ever plays that character. The one time he plays that character, you win an Oscar for it? Bullshit. But every other performance he's had is definitely Oscar-winning worthy, and he never gets credit for it. So, screw you, Academy, and screw you with your stereotypes, and screw you for having 90-something% of the nominees being white. Screw you.
Well, when you have 100% of the guys doing the nominating in their mid-50s and they're all white, that's what you're going to get. They need to get rid of those old bastards, get in some people that understand what an original screenplay is supposed to be, and just revamp the Oscars because I could give a rat's ass about watching the Oscars. and then on top of it, to make it even less, I couldn't stomach it, or made it even harder for me to stomach. Having Seth MacFarlane as the host, and then getting pissed because Seth MacFarlane was the host was just epic. I was like, what did you expect Seth MacFarlane to do? Did you think that he was going to get up there and just be nice and not tell a bunch of fart jokes and be absolutely inappropriate every chance that he got? I mean, seriously. And so I'm just so sick of the Oscars, and the nomination process is garbage. Eric is 100% right. I think that, and I'm not. I don't try to find racism and everything, but I think that there's 100% some racial issues when it comes to the Oscars. I mean, because they are all. I mean, you know what? It's just their generation. They're old, and that's what they were raised with. And that's just not the time. They need people in there that are our age, that are that understand that Looper should have been nominated for something. That genre films are okay to get it's okay to nominate a genre film.
Right.
That every foreign film that gets nominated doesn't need to be from the Victorian era. Okay. That there's other European films that are good films that can get nominated. That everyone isn't wearing big white wigs.
And every movie about the mentally challenged, handicapped World War II kid whose puppy got cancer and died does not need to be nominated.
No, that's absolutely right.
Jesus. Okay, cool, guys. Anything else you want to rant about in terms of?
I could go on about the Oscars for a long time, so we'll leave it there. But the Oscars are garbage. The People's Choice Awards need to somebody needs to take hold of that and really put some money into it and push that, because those are the award. That's the award show that everyone should be watching, but and not the Oscars.
Real quick, your boy Christoph Waltz though did win Best Supporting Actor for his role in Django Unchained. Did you think that was one that they actually got right, or?
I thought it was no. I mean, Christoph Waltz is fantastic. So anything that dude does, I support. But I was with the crowd that thought Samuel L. Jackson should have been nominated.
Yeah.
So I mean, Waltz winning it, I don't have a problem with. De Niro, I thought, was fantastic in Silver Linings Playbook. The actors that were nominated for Best Supporting Actor, I think that was the best job that the Academy did, because they were all outside of Samuel L. Jackson. I thought that they did a fairly good job there with those nominations. Yeah, no. I mean, an animated feature. Erica knows that I'm a fan of the movie Brave, so I was happy to see Brave.
Oh, can I rant one more time?
Yeah, go ahead.
I thought Brave was visually very appealing. I thought it lacked soul. There was no connection with the characters whatsoever for me. I think Wreck-It Ralph should have won by far. It was just a superior movie in terms of its storytelling, in terms of its the character development. Just everything about it I thought was better than Brave. I thought Brave was
I
very
couldn't
pretty.
argue there. So I guess it depends on what you look at. As far as me, for the animated feature, it's about the animation and not just the storyline. I think it goes back and forth. And Brave's animation to me was by far some of the best animation I've ever seen.
I will agree with that. But
and
the
so
fact
that's
that the
to me that's
storyline
why
was
it should
so
have won.
lacking. You need
And
something.
I
in
understand
between.
that. I mean, I wouldn't. I can't really. I'm not going to argue that point, because I agree. Wreck-It Ralph was a superior movie as far as the storyline and the characters go. But I can't get over Brave's hair. Brave's hair could have won an award on its own. And so Mara's hair. So that the hair. Oh, and her dad's hair. In fact, the hair should have just been nominated by itself.
Are you saying
and
there
then
needs to be a
you
hair
know,
category? And
Yes,
best
there should have been a hair
goes
category. And then you know what? Then Wreck-It Ralph could have won the animated feature. And
That is the most diva thing I've ever heard you say in my entire life.
Well, and
That was so diva.
I didn't see all of the movies that were nominated for Best Animated Feature, and one of these days, Matt and I will get back to doing Pop Heavy, because I really would like for us to do an animated movie episode of that.
Can I come on and talk about anime?
You know what? You've asked that so many times now. I mean, do you even need to ask that anymore?
Yeah.
Well, no, if you're going to do like an animated one, then I'd love to talk about anime.
Yeah, we can definitely do an anime. That I'd love to go back to let's see, circa 1989 when I first got into animation or anime.
Are we going to talk about Akira?
The year I was born.
The year you were born. We can talk some Fist of the North Star. Yeah, Akira.
So some of the nominations for the best animated movie category, it seems like they struggle to fill that category sometimes. Because, in all honesty, did not like Frankenweenie. Just didn't like it. I don't think it was a bad movie, but I just didn't like it. It wasn't.
But
something
it got
that
nominated because it's artsy. That's why it got
Yeah,
nominated. And then I agree. I think the big thing is that when they do the animated films, they typically don't branch out from anything that was made. If it wasn't made in the States, it typically doesn't get looked at unless it's
Right.
like looked at as one of the best ever anime or Japanese animated films of all time.
Yeah, and I did finally see Hotel Transylvania, and not that I think that should have been nominated for anything. I thought that was a better movie than Frankenweenie by far.
It was definitely a lot more fun.
was
Like I
so
said, I
much
took my
more
daughter
fun.
to see Frank and
Yeah.
Weenie, and she's a little bit weird, so she enjoyed it. She's like her dad.
You
in
do
that
know this is
instance.
going on the internet, and the internet is forever.
Yes,
Okay.
she'll know that she likes some odd stuff. I mean, she's a girl and she likes her Ben 10 and she likes to watch Adventureland, I think it's called.
Oh, Adventure
Oh,
Time! Adventure
I
Time.
love Adventureland.
That show's crazy
That
and
show
she
is
loves
awesome.
that show.
Show is
And
really
and I know that she doesn't even really understand what the hell's going on in it. She just likes watching it. So, but Paranorman was good. The Pirates, man, I loved that. I love claymation. So I thought that was entertaining. But yeah, Frank and Weenie should not have been nominated. It was bad. The last 15 minutes was great, but that was about it.
Yeah, yeah. The rest of the movie, I don't know. When you make a kids movie, you would think you would make it enjoyable for kids, and your daughter, being the exception, I'm assuming. I would think most kids kind of looked at it and were like, "I'm kind of sad because there's a bunch of dead animals, and nothing was funny." So,
Yeah, no, I agree.
like, at no point is Tim Burton like, you know what? This movie's getting the people a little down. Let's throw in some comedy in there. No, no, he doesn't do that. Sorry, that was my complaint about the best animated feature film category. Wreck-It Ralph.
You're right. Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. Thoughts on The Walking Dead, people?
What is I mean, is there anything other than I love it? Is that, I mean, that's pretty much all you should be saying. Is that thank God The Walking Dead's back, because right now there's like literally nothing on television.
I
Yeah,
like it.
you know
I
what?
love it. I want some more of it.
All I'm saying is I hate Andrea.
I don't hate her. I mean,
I hate her.
I don't hate her. I just hate the way they've written her character, because she's one of my favorite characters in the comic book, and I just hold on. I'm holding on because they've got two of my favorite characters from the comic book kind of in limbo as far as where they're going to eventually go, and that's Andrea and Tyrese. And so I'm hoping that they don't go off the reservation and write these characters into
the
being
singer
something that
slash actor. No, I'm just kidding.
what's that?
Tyrese? Which one is Tyrese? What am I missing?
The black
That
the
guy
big black dude.
Oh, the black dude who's Oh yeah, okay, gotcha.
from The Wire.
Yeah, from The Wire.
I've never seen The Wire, so.
Neither have I. What? So. Anyways, moving on. But those two are two of my favorite characters from the comic books, and so I'm hoping that they do something else with them. But yeah, I'm not mad at Andrea. She's
I'm glad you're not mad at me.
yeah, I'm not mad at you. She's stuck in a bad spot because she hasn't seen the governor for what he is.
She's seen him for what he is. She just doesn't want to believe what she's seeing. She wants to think that she's like every other broad on this planet that thinks that she can change him and make him a better person. And it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
He looked
with
so
him.
innocent while he was there sleeping with her knife to his throat too.
I'm gonna be real with you, and I said it to a friend of mine. A friend of mine texted me and was like, "What is wrong with Andrea?" And I was like, "Look, the governor is just magnificent in bed, and he's handling it, and she ain't going nowhere. She's weighed up Michonne, and then she's weighed up the governor, and she's like, I'm gonna take D, literally."
How did you guys handle Merle? We're moving on from that. How did you handle Merle? And the way they've handled Merle's character and brought him into the mix. I mean, are you guys good with that? Do you guys think that he's going to screw up? You think that he's turned the new leaf?
No, I mean he's going to screw up. I don't think he's turned a new leaf. People don't turn a new leaf just overnight like that. But I think he's going to screw up and maybe actually feel guilt after he screws up. I think that it seems like that's the direction they're going. They're trying to humanize Merle a little bit more, and I think make you feel for him. Even though, in the past it was more comfortable to just hate him. He was a racist son of a bitch, and it was comfortable to just hate him. But once they start putting, once they start humanizing him and showing you a little bit beyond just his bigotry. I think they're developing connection with Merle, and then he's gonna fuck up pretty bad.
I think he'll probably screw up too, but I did like the scene with him and Herschel, and I thought that his character reciting the Bible verse added a little more depth to him, showing us that he's not just a dumb hick. That he's got there's a little bit more something, a little more something there than what was initially thought.
I still think
He's still a dumb hick, but yeah.
But yeah, so overall, man, the show's been fantastic. Though I can't wait to watch this week and see what happens. And I think that Rick is going after the tank. That's my prediction for next week's episode.
Going after the tank.
The tank is in Atlanta.
Oh.
Because he said he had to go somewhere. There was something he was going to do. I can't remember exactly how it went. I was half out of it with drugs, and not the good kind.
Whoa, yeah,
yeah. But
hang around with Daniel Strauss, son.
Daniel Strauss and I, we're tight. But I think that I think that's what's going to happen, man. I think he's going to try to go back there and get that tank going to make it even with the and that's nothing to do with the comic book or anything. That's actually that'd be a new twist on things. But I think that might be what he's doing.
If he comes back with a tank, and you're right, that might become one of the most epic moments in television history.
Oh yeah, that'd be absolutely crazy, especially if they run the episode and you really don't know what he's doing, if they could have the Woodbury attack and messing stuff up, and then here he comes rolling in with the tank and just wipes the floor. That would be absolutely crazy.
No, indeed. Seen any films recently?
Oh well, I talked about Flight. I watched that last night, and that was fantastic movie. I mean, it was really depressing, and I'm not big on the depressing movies, but Denzel Washington, man, it wasn't a super original storyline or anything, but his character was just fantastic. I mean, his acting was, it was spot on. It was some of the best work I've seen in a long time. So I really enjoyed that. Other than that, I haven't really watched a whole lot, man. I've been too damn sick. I've been doing a little bit of gaming. That's about it.
You need to watch Detention again. Well, still.
Yeah, no, I've got that marked, man, to watch. I haven't had a chance to. I did, and Erica doesn't know this, but I'm a little bit. I guess my guilty pleasure for several years, at least the last several years, has been to watch American Idol, and I know that she used to be a fan of American Idol. I don't know if she still is.
I think it's garbage right now.
Whoa! Stop! Hold on a second.
The Voice is so much better than American Idol. Like, American Idol fell off. It jumped the shark. It had sex with it. It had tiny shark.
It was eaten
children.
by the shark. It didn't jump the shark. The shark came in and just swallowed it whole.
Nicki Minaj is the worst thing to happen to music, American Idol, and the American public since AIDS. I said it.
Yeah, I know Andre's wanting to get in on this, so...
Whoa. Yeah. Erica, unless you're finished, because I'm very confused here. Because I remember vividly getting so much shit from you for having to watch America's Next Top Model. Not that I chose to, but I had to watch it because of my mum.
It's still American Idol's still better than America's Next Top Model, man. It's singing.
I used to watch America's Next Top Model as well.
That's okay, but Andre watched it with his mom when he was a kid, which is kind of weird.
It is a little strange. You don't have any issues. You don't seem to have any apparent issues right now, so...
I hate you both.
But no, and this is how bad American Idol is. It's made me come out of my American Idol closet and comment I mean, this is so absolutely horrible what they've done. I was trying to figure out the people that they were putting through can't sing. I mean, and Nicki Minaj has taken over the show, and it's all about looks and evidently how you can interview versus how you actually are able to sing. It's not a singing competition, which from what I've always understood, it was a singing competition until this year. And it is absolutely horrible. And you're right, the Voice destroys it. And it kills me that the Voice lost CeeLo and
it's just for
Christina
the season,
Aguilera.
though, because Christina Aguilera and CeeLo are touring, so they couldn't do the show. So they'll be back. They'll be back
but
for
that
the
loses
following
our
season.
season still.
Say that again.
Losing season still sucks.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I mean, the chemistry they have between the four. So I'm hoping that what is it? It's Usher, and who else is replacing them?
Shakira.
Oh my God. But hopefully that they get a good chemistry rolling right from the back. But the talent wise on The Voice, it's light years beyond anything they have on American Idol.
Yeah, by far, it's superior to American Idol. And Andre, we haven't talked since the death of one of the greatest shows on television. And I feel like it's appropriate for us to at least have a moment's silence for happy endings.
Oh my God! Has it actually died? They cancelled it.
Oh yeah, they canceled it weeks ago.
You were the big happy endings guy, and you didn't know that?
Weeks ago.
I know. I thought it was in the bubble. I was pretty sure they hadn't cancelled. I checked this week to see if they cancelled it.
No, it's canceled. They canceled that, and they canceled Don't Trust the Bee in Apartment 23, which was also a great show.
I know they've cancelled Don't Trust the Bee in Apartment 23. I never watched that. I should have, because I was a massive Dawson's Creek fan. But I'm 100% sure they haven't cancelled Happy Endings yet.
No, they have.
You're 100%
She's 100%
wrong.
Right. What?
Yeah, they canceled it.
Maybe you'll get lucky, and Netflix and Hulu could pick it up.
Yes, so that's the thing about television nowadays, which I think is outstanding. There was a point in time where if your show got canceled, that was it. That's it. Pack up your bags and find something else. But in today's society, especially with Netflix and Hulu and the interwebs, we can revive shows. Other channels will pick it up, so the show is only getting 2 million watchers. TBS would fucking love that for a show.
Right,
yeah,
your cable networks will love that.
So, I'm reading something, and it hasn't been cancelled, but it might as well have been cancelled. Should I carry on?
It got canceled.
It is canceled. What are you reading that's saying it's not canceled?
I'm looking at this thing, and it's telling me Happy Endings moves to Friday night. So I've not seen anything yet that says it's been cancelled.
Let me, because I posted the article.
Wait. All cancelled at the end of the. Oh, what the hell? What's going on here? I'm confused.
I don't know.
I'm just going to agree with you.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
I agree with you. I'm heartbroken now.
Yeah, if you.
I've tried not to watch any of the episodes this season, so I could watch them all in a row, and I don't even want to watch it now, just in case it's because it'll be so final.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second.
Are we now? We might have to recant.
We might have to recant. I'm reading something. Let me see. February 13th. That's not that long ago. Beginning in March. So they are moving it to Fridays beginning in March, which is the death.
Hello.
Of television shows. It's final Tuesday episode last week makes its Friday debut on March 29th, airing back-to-back original episodes from 8 to 9. Yeah, they're going to allow it to finish out its season. Was what
but it's reading. Still canceled.
Yeah, it's still canceled. Okay. It's going to let it finish out. Unlike Don't Trust the Bee, which they decided not to let it.
Really?
Yeah, I've never watched that one either, so I don't.
It was actually a really good comedy. I really enjoyed it. If you like Breaking Bad, you remember the girl that Jesse was shacked up with for a while. It may be a little hard to watch the show at first because it's the same chick. But having said that, the show had some really great writing. It was very snappy writing. And then it had James Van Der Beek playing James Van Der Beek. It doesn't get much better than that.
I'll have to check it out. I have so many shows that I need to get caught up on. That, but we talked about a little off air. I am, for those that have been wanting me to get caught up on it, I am catching up on Breaking Bad, and I am definitely looking forward to this summer's finale.
Yeah, no, I am as well. I'm sure Erica is too.
Yeah.
I'm tempted to watch it illegally live in the UK and maybe take the morning off work. I'm that tempted.
Hey, you know what? Going back to the Oscars and you doing stuff that you shouldn't be in regards to work. What did you feel about the Dark Knight Rises not getting any love from the Oscars?
Racist.
They just don't. They just don't like Christopher Nolan. I think Christopher Nolan's he's basically going to be the Nas of the Oscars, whereas like Nas is probably considered one of the greatest rappers alive. Never won a Grammy though. I think that's Christopher Nolan. I think that's it's going to be like Gary Oldman
Christopher
as well.
Nolan is the Nas of the film industry? Because I really like that. I really like that.
Do you dig that? He's just too intellectual for the old Oscars. His ideas are too broad.
Yeah, it's somebody else brought that up. Why, the thought. What do we think about the fact that Dark Knight Rises did not get nominated for anything? And it's it goes back to what Matt was saying earlier. It's just the Academy is a bunch of old white dudes who probably still think comic books are for kids and that it was a kids movie, and why would we nominate a kids movie for an Oscar? And
to be honest though, should it have been nominated? No. The Dark Knight should have won something.
The Dark Knight Rises definitely should have been nominated for something. You are crazy if you think it shouldn't have been.
No, that film, Looper, to me, should have won an award somewhere. I mean, there's several films that a couple of the documentaries that weren't nominated. There's multiple films. But again, we could go on ad nauseum over the films that were snubbed and the films that were nominated that didn't win. It's so irritating. That's what we need to do as a pop heavy episode of why the Oscars suck.
Yes, why the Oscars suck. I'm ready for it. Yes, my schedule should be clearing up pretty soon. After 1:58, I should be pretty good in terms of having time. I've just been traveling so much lately. I've already been on like 5 trips in 2013, so hopefully things will slow down for me. Okay, yay.
That sounds good.
Yay.
All right, well, I think my voice is about ready to go, so we better wrap this up, Andre.
Did we lose Andre? Where the hell did he go?
Evidently, we might have lost Andre.
Oh, I think we did lose Andre. Dear Andre. Stop.
Andre,
playing.
he's hung up. He's gone.
Let's see if I can get him back. I'm gonna see if I can get him back. I had to call. Yeah, I think I'm ready to do a new episode of Pop Heavy, which would be a lot of fun. I've been watching a lot of TV. You really have to get into Spartacus, man. It's such a great show.
I know, but that just makes me have one more cable. Is Spartacus on Hulu or Netflix?
No, it used to be on Netflix, but then Netflix lost their contract with Stars.
Yes, I mean, I don't have Stars. I have Showtime, HBO. I have everything except for Stars and Cinemax.
I don't understand why we can't get Andre back. His mom must have cut off his internet. There he
Hello?
is.
Hey,
Hey, we lost you. Okay, you're back.
I am. Should we end this?
Yes, that's what I was going to you for the end, and you just weren't there. I felt a little bit lost.
It's okay. Just accept the loss. Just accept that feeling. Matt, I'm only going to ask you who would you like to thank. So, you know.
Well, Andre, I'd like to thank Fight Fans Radio. A lot of great podcasts over there. Go check them out. Erica Lewis and yourself for putting together a pretty good show today. I'm surprised that I didn't cough and hack and just generally disgust people throughout the podcast. So I'm going to give myself a big thank you for not doing that. And hopefully everybody downloads and listens to this show because we've been gone for a while. So back to you, Andre.
Everyone you thanked, I would like to thank too. I'd also like to say shout out to my new little baby cousin, who I don't actually think has a name yet, but everyone's calling him Billy. So hi Billy, welcome to the world. Yeah, thank you, Erica. It's always good to have you on the show and hear your lovely voice. We miss you. Let's do this more often. Potentially next Sunday, where we'll have another episode of Across the Pond MMA. Ladies and gentlemen, have a great day, or evening, or morning, depending where you are. And we'll speak to you again next Sunday. Take it easy. Peace.